Again, my name is Ryan Quigtar. I'm from Skyway. That's the neighborhood that Ken was referring to, unincorporated King County, and is really the premise of my whole journey in life. A ton of thank yous. This is completely unexpected. When I got the email, I was like, I gave it to my wife, Erin. I was like, read this. Is this a real award email? And she was like, okay, well, what are we doing? So I think it means more to me that way just because, it wasn't something that I asked for a nomination or sought a meeting to do this. And respect to people who do that because I don't have the confidence to. But when people notice the work that you do when your head is down and they recognize it, especially in a room like this, it means a lot to me. So thank you, ComLead, for recognizing me. I really do appreciate that. Akin, Anita, I don't think Anita's here. Alex, really appreciate you all. Alex, I think for you, speaking specifically for the consultancy, your leadership in that, man, from a staffing standpoint, your sacrifice, your advocacy for us as students to make it happen, it literally would not have happened. So thank you for that. So many people have benefited from that for your sacrifice, so thank you. OG Consultancy folks. Susan's in the house. Susan, can you raise your hand, please? Susan was the backbone for a lot of this, and she continued on even after I graduated. Susan ran the show, and we showed up, and we're like, okay, what are we doing? Here's what she said, and we did it. There were a lot of dog days early on when we started, but again, Susan, thank you. And again, for other folks who aren't in the room, still want to acknowledge them. Evelyn, Megan, Stacy, and Mo, that was our original crew. And we started from a very small idea, and in a matter of weeks, we took it to something that, people in Georgia, we had clients in Georgia even, and further. So just to give you kind of a scale of what we were able to do in a very short amount of time. To my family, thank you for always supporting me. To my wife, for always encouraging me to step into my spotlight and to take up space. My cousin Fernando, current freshman here. A quick story, because when I saw this award, it just triggered so many memories. So many things happened in 2020, 2021, and still now coming with the Skyway Resource Center. Fernando at the time was, 14, 15 years old. And we had a food pantry in my organization. We staffed one at a apartment complex. And I left my parents' house and his parents' house were maybe a quarter mile, half a mile from each other. Well, we left the dolly at his house, and we needed the dolly to move massive boxes of food. He tied the dolly on his bike and rode it to the food pantry. And I'll never forget that. So thank you for being part of this. And aside from that, my dad was mad because on the bike ride, he actually curved the wheel, so the dolly didn't work properly, but it's okay. It worked out. To Annabelle, who's here, my former colleague here when I was at UW, when I worked at ECO in the School of Education. She showed me the ropes here at UW and encouraged me to take the next step in my professional career, which is the current position I'm in, so thank you for that. I appreciate all of our conversations we had. From my parents, I learned at an early age, to always leave something better than you found it. And I hope that I was able to do that with ComLead. I think that's why I was getting the award, but it's a value that was always instilled in me. So thank you for teaching me that life lesson. I appreciate that. Some additional perspective as I was reflecting on my journey. It's really crazy. So I graduated in 2021, and we were walking around campus getting ready for graduation, and we were taking photos around campus. And my brother also graduated here from UW, and I learned in that day, that was the first time my mom had actually visited the entire college campus. And here I am, graduating with a master's degree, already a bachelor's, and this is her first time. Growing up here in Seattle, born and raised, she had never been to this campus. And it just speaks to the sacrifice and journey and what they prepared for me. So thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you, Mom. When I think back, thank you. When I think back to my time in Comm Lead, so many memories come up, and Tong was saying the same thing. There's just so much that helped prepare me for my professional life, personal life, and everything that I've been able to help be a part of. In my application video, I still have it on my laptop. I actually stated in there what my goal was, and I'm sure that was probably one of the prompts. But I specifically said one of my goals with this program is to learn how to support small businesses and help them. Specifically, what I said there at least was with their marketing needs. Now, I know a lot more is a very broad statement, and I guess it helped me get in to the program. But I think now, understanding what I was saying then and what actually happened, setting a goal and not really knowing everything, but having confidence to be able to follow through and make something happen, I take pride in that. I think when we work with community members, folks who are vulnerable and come to you and asking for help, your ability to say something and follow through on what you said, that's how you build trust, and that's how you build relationships. And I think for me, that's always served as true for me in my professional work. When I coach basketball to 8th grade boys and younger. So I think for me, that's just been something that I've always tried to stay true to. The other thing too, I wanted to say thank you to Akin and Alex is actually applied just past the deadline, but it was like midnight. So thank you for not really looking at that when you reviewed my application, because I'm here now, so thank you. My first class, 501, we had a final project, and again, it was focused on community development with a lens of economic development. How do we use that to develop our own neighborhoods from within? And I think just this theme of economic development, supporting small businesses, and again, my framing is in Skyway, we still do not have the infrastructure necessary to support our neighborhoods. And seeing that day to day, still working with folks, trying to figure out what could I do? Okay, well, I'm here at the University of Washington. I'm working with tremendous faculty who are bright minds, other students who are bright minds. What can I learn from them to take back to my neighborhood and make it a better place? Or help others do more than me. So that's always something that I tried to do, but for that first class, it really pushed me to think that way. And it just followed through my entire Comm Lead career. Every other class I took, again, it really translated to everything that I was doing at that point in time. UX design, communication for advocacy, multicultural marketing, you name it. Every single class I took, I could literally look at this assignment or this lecture and apply it the very next day. And I really enjoyed every single day of my time here at Comm Lead. So the same time I took my position, or the same time I entered Comm Lead, I took my position at RISP is what we call it. Renton Innovation Zone Partnership is a lot to say. And at a year later, the pandemic hit. So this was my first leadership position. And as I'm figuring out what am I doing as a leader, overcoming a lot of different challenges, the pandemic hit. And I had to think about a lot. From an organizational standpoint, what am I going to do to lead my organization through a really tough time? And we're not talking just the pandemic, if we're being real. And then I thought, if I'm in Comm Lead right now, I'm here at UW, 30,000 plus students, what can we do here to support the community outside of this? And so that kind of challenged me to think and kind of come up with this idea and talking with others for the consultancy. The time it took from the consultancy, from the idea to implementation, was a matter of weeks. For people who work here and are familiar with higher ed institutions, to do something that fast is impossible. You know that. Bureaucracy here just doesn't work that way. but it did for ComLead. And again, the sacrifice Akin, Alex, and the staff made to make that happen in such a short amount of time, not only was it just showcasing what you believed in, ComLead's values. And to me, one of those things was student voice, which is super important. You heard us, you listened to us, and you said, you know what, we are going to do something. And those 5 people I named at the beginning, we took it and ran with it. So to me, that's probably one of the biggest things that I'll ever, remember from ComLead is that process and how quickly things happened. Without that, I don't know if the consultancy would have been the same. When you think about UW, right, we're one of the top schools here in the country. Again, over 30,000 students, each one of them, their own brilliance, their own intellect. So why wouldn't we do something? Why wouldn't we use those resources? In my opinion, that's the greatest resource UW has to offer, is that intellectual knowledge times 30,000 plus. We're not even talking alumni, right? And so to think about how can we do that with ComLead. Each department, each school, right, each program has their own ways of connecting with community and doing that. Another quick shout out, ComLead was able to pay us as students. Not every program does that. Another value of theirs. I think that's really, really, really amazing. That to me is always something that stands out, again, is the resources. UW's, I guess it's their mission statement, be boundless, right? So thinking about how can we really be boundless? We're not talking about just serving the University District, the city of Seattle. We're in South King County. We're in Central Washington. We're in Georgia. We're in other places in the country, supporting small businesses and giving students the opportunity to learn the skills that they're, or apply the skills that they're learning here at ComLead. So it's been a really amazing journey to see where things are now as well with the consultancy. The last thing I want to say again is just thank you to ComLead for acknowledging the work that's happening, not just with ComLead, but in my community and the communication school in general for acknowledging this. Thank you again. Appreciate it.